Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're here with us today, and we have a really fun topic for you. Today, we're talking about swimming, one of the most popular activities in the world. Get ready to learn real English expressions that people actually use when they talk about swimming.
Hey there, welcome. I'm so excited about today's episode because swimming is something I genuinely love. Whether you swim in a pool, a lake, or the ocean, there's so much English vocabulary connected to it. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to talk about swimming just like a native speaker.
That's right. You're going to learn useful words, real phrases, and natural expressions about swimming. We'll also look at some common mistakes that English learners make, so you can avoid them. And don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to Simple English Talks so you never miss an episode.
Now, before we dive in, and yes, dive in is actually a great swimming expression, we want to hear from you. Do you know how to swim? Leave a comment below and tell us. Are you a beginner swimmer, an intermediate swimmer, or are you a strong swimmer? We'd love to know.
Okay, let's start with the basics, the most important swimming vocabulary you need to know. First, let's talk about swimming styles, which we also call swimming strokes. The four main strokes are freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly, and each one looks completely different in the water.
I love freestyle the most. It's also called front crawl, and it's the fastest and most common stroke. Backstroke is when you swim on your back. Breaststroke is the one where your arms move in a big circle in front of you, and butterfly is the hardest one. Your body moves like a wave. Can you name all four strokes? Pause the video and try to say them out loud.
Now, let's talk about swimming places. You can swim in a pool, which is an indoor or outdoor man-made structure filled with water. You can also swim in the ocean, a lake, or a river. These are called open water swimming. A lap pool is a long pool specifically designed for swimming laps back and forth. One length of the pool is called a lap.
Here's some great vocabulary for when you're at the pool. The area where you walk and sit around the pool is called the pool deck or the pool side. The person who watches over swimmers and keeps them safe is called a lifeguard, a very important job. And the rule, no running on the pool deck, is one of the first things you learn at any swimming pool.
Let's talk about some essential swimming actions. When you jump into the water feet first, we say you jump in. When you go in head first with your arms out in front, that's called a dive. And when you float on the surface of the water without moving much, we say you float. Can you use these three verbs in a sentence? Try it now. Say something like, I love to dive into the pool on a hot day.
Quick summary of Section 1. The four swimming strokes are freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. You can swim in a pool or open water. Key actions include swimming laps, diving in, and floating. Write one new word you just learned in the comments. We always love reading your answers.
Now that you know the basics, let's talk about how to describe swimming in real conversation. This is where it gets really interesting. One very common question in English is, can you swim? And the answers can be more detailed than just yes or no. You can say, I'm a strong swimmer. I'm not a great swimmer. Or, I can swim a little, but I'm not very confident.
Here's a really natural phrase. I'm out of practice. This means you used to be good at something, but you haven't done it for a while. For example, I used to swim every week, but now I'm out of practice. Another great phrase is, I'm a little rusty. Same meaning, very natural. If someone asks about your swimming, you can say, I can swim, but I'm a bit rusty. I haven't been to the pool in months.
Let's also look at formal versus informal ways to talk about swimming. In a formal situation, like a job application for a camp counselor, you might say, I have strong swimming ability and I'm certified in water safety. But in everyday conversation with a friend, you'd say, oh yeah, I can swim no problem. I grew up near the beach. See how different they sound? Same information, totally different style.
Here are some really common expressions you'll hear native speakers use. To take the plunge means to finally do something scary or important, not just swimming. To be in deep water means to be in a difficult situation. And to stay afloat can literally mean not sinking, but it also means to manage in a hard situation, like, she worked 2 jobs to stay afloat. These are all connected to swimming, but used in everyday life.
Let's do a quick practice. I'll describe a situation, and you say the expression. If your friend is nervous about starting a new business and you want to encourage them, what swimming expression could you use? That's right, you could say, just take the plunge. Great job. Now, leave a comment telling us one situation in your life where you had to take the plunge.
Okay, let's review section 2. You can describe your swimming ability using phrases like, I'm a strong swimmer, or I'm a bit rusty. You can use swimming expressions like take the plunge, in deep water, and stay afloat in everyday English conversations. These are so useful. You'll start hearing them everywhere once you know them.
Now, let's learn vocabulary for swimming equipment, the things you wear and use when you swim. The most basic item is a swimsuit or swimming costume. In American English, people usually say swimsuit. In British English, you might hear swimming costume or trunks for men. Knowing both versions is really helpful.
Other important gear includes goggles, those special glasses that protect your eyes underwater, and a swim cap, a tight rubber or silicone cap you wear on your head to keep your hair dry and reduce drag in the water. Flippers or fins go on your feet and help you swim faster. And a kickboard is a flat, floating board you hold in front of you to practice just your leg kick. Very useful for beginners.
Let's talk about common pool rules, and this gives us great vocabulary practice too. No diving in the shallow end means you must not dive where the water is not deep enough. Very important for safety. Swim in your own lane is both a pool rule and actually a popular expression in modern English, meaning to mind your own business. Has anyone ever told you to stay in your lane? It comes from swimming.
Here's a fun cultural note. In many English-speaking countries, children take swimming lessons starting from a very young age. The teacher is called a swimming instructor, and classes often happen at the local leisure center in the UK or recreation center in the US. If you've ever taken swimming lessons, tell us in the comments. How old were you when you learned to swim? We always love hearing your stories.
Let me give you a practical tip for remembering swimming vocabulary. Group the words into categories in your head: things you wear, things you use, places you swim, and things you do. This mental organization makes vocabulary much easier to remember and use when you're speaking. Try making your own list right now. Pause the video and write it out.
Great section. You now know swimming gear vocabulary like goggles, swim cap, and flippers. You know pool rules and the fun expressions that come from them. And you have a great memory tip for organizing vocabulary. You're building a really strong swimming vocabulary. I'm so proud of you all.
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts: common mistakes. And I'll be honest, I've made some of these mistakes myself when learning. The first mistake is saying, I go to swim instead of I go swimming. In English, when we talk about activities we do for fun or exercise, we use the ing form. So it's I go swimming, I go running, I go hiking, not I go to swim.
The second common mistake is confusing drown and sink. Drown means a person dies or is in danger of dying in water. It's only used for living things. Sink means an object goes down to the bottom of the water. We say, the boat sank, or my keys sank to the bottom of the pool. Never say the boat drowned. That sounds very strange to native speakers. Correct, the toy sank. Not correct, the toy drowned.
Mistake number 3, confusing swim and bathe. In modern English, to bathe usually means to take a bath at home. If you want to say you went into the sea or pool for pleasure, say, I went for a swim or I went swimming, not I went bathing. Older English literature uses bathing for swimming in the sea, so you might see it in books, but in everyday modern conversation, just say swimming.
And mistake number 4, saying, I'm a good at swimming with that extra A. The correct form is simply, I'm good at swimming, no A in between. This is a very common grammar slip, and it happens with all activities. I'm good at cooking. I'm good at dancing. Just remember, good at with no article before the ing form. Leave a comment with your own sentence using I'm good at. Let's see what you're all talented at.
Remember, making mistakes is a completely normal part of learning English. Every single person does it, including us. The important thing is that you keep trying, keep speaking, and keep learning. Each mistake is actually a chance to get better, so don't be afraid of them. You're doing an amazing job just by watching and practicing with us today.
Wonderful work getting through the mistakes section.
And here's a real-life situation. Imagine you just came back from a holiday and your colleague asks, "How was your holiday?" You can say, "It was wonderful, thanks. We went to the coast and the weather was perfect." Or maybe, "Honestly, it was a bit tiring. We traveled a lot, but I'm happy we went." See how both answers are natural and honest?
Now, one thing I want to highlight is the difference between formal and informal language here. In a casual conversation with a friend, you'd say, "Oh my gosh, it was so good. I had the best time." But in a slightly more formal situation, like talking to your manager at work, you'd say, "It was a really enjoyable break. I feel quite refreshed." Same meaning, different level of formality. First, think about who you're talking to. Second, adjust your vocabulary. Third, keep the sentence structure simple in both cases.
Let's do a quick practice activity. I'll describe a holiday experience, and you tell me what adjective fits best. Ready? We woke up at 4 in the morning, drove for 8 hours, and the hotel was fully booked. What adjective would you use for that experience? I think most of you would say exhausting or disappointing. Write your answer in the comments. It's great practice.
And don't forget, you can combine two feelings with but. For example, it was exhausting but really exciting. Or, it was disappointing at first, but we found a better hotel and it turned out amazing. That little word, but, adds so much to your storytelling and makes your English sound much more fluent. So keep that tip in mind.
One more tip. Use especially to make your sentences more specific and interesting. I loved the holiday, especially the food. It was a great trip, especially the last day when we went hiking. That one word makes your story so much richer and more vivid.
Great job, everyone! In this section, we covered describing feelings with adjectives, adjusting formal and informal language, combining feelings with but, and using especially to add detail. These tools will make your holiday conversations so much more interesting and natural.
All right, let's look at another really important part of holiday conversation, making and responding to invitations. Holidays are all about spending time with people, and knowing how to invite someone or respond to an invitation is a super useful skill. The basic structure for an invitation is would you like to plus verb or do you want to plus verb.
For example, would you like to come to our holiday dinner? Do you want to join us for the celebrations? Would you like to spend the weekend with us? These are polite, warm, and very natural ways to invite someone. And the great thing is, you can use these in almost any holiday situation.
Now, how do you accept an invitation politely? You can say, I'd love to, thank you so much. Or, That sounds wonderful. Count me in. Or, absolutely, I wouldn't miss it. These responses are enthusiastic and show that you're excited to join. They sound natural and friendly, which is exactly what you want during the holidays.
And what about declining an invitation politely? This is really important because saying no in English can feel uncomfortable, but there's a kind way to do it. You can say, "I'm so sorry, I already have plans." Or, "That's so kind of you, but unfortunately I can't make it." Or, "I'd love to, but I have a family commitment that day." You see the pattern? Always thank the person first, then explain briefly, and keep your tone warm.
Let's do a mini practice right now. I'll be the host and give an invitation, and you respond out loud, either accept or decline. Ready? Here we go. Hey, we're having a little New Year's party at our place. Would you like to come? Pause right here, say your answer out loud, and then press play again. Speaking out loud is one of the best ways to improve your fluency, so please don't skip this step.
How did that feel? If you accepted, maybe you said something like, "Oh yes, I'd love to. What time should I come?" And if you declined, maybe, "That sounds lovely, but I'm going to be out of town. Have a great time." Both are perfect. What matters is that you responded naturally and kindly. Write your response in the comments. We want to see what you came up with.
One more tip about invitations. When you invite someone, you can add a detail to make it more appealing. Instead of just, "Do you want to come over?" you can say, "Do you want to come over? I'm making homemade lasagna and there will be lots of fun people." That extra detail makes the invitation warmer and more exciting. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference.
So to review this section, use "would you like to" or "do you want to invite someone. Accept with enthusiasm using phrases like "I'd love to." And when you decline, always be warm and thankful first. These skills will help you navigate holiday social situations with ease and confidence.